In the neon-drenched underbelly of Hollywood's nocturnal playgrounds, where whispers of reinvention mingle with the clink of cocktail glasses, Sacha Baron Cohen found himself at the center of a scene straight out of his own satirical playbook. At 54, the chameleon comic, architect of Borat's crass cultural crusades and Bruno's boundary-pushing bravado, emerged from the shadows of a freshly minted divorce to embrace the electric pulse of singledom. It was the wee hours of a Friday morning, the kind of time when inhibitions loosen and alliances form in fleeting flickers, that Cohen was spied deep in conversation outside an up-and-coming hotspot, his sharp wit trained on Kelsey Calemine, a 26-year-old influencer whose striking resemblance to Kylie Jenner turned heads faster than a red carpet reveal. This wasn't a scripted stunt, it was raw, real, and rippling with the intrigue that defines Cohen's off-screen escapades. The Club, a secretive speakeasy-esque venue tucked into Hollywood's ever-evolving nightlife labyrinth, had drawn Cohen's solo at 1 a.m., sans security detail, a rarity for a man whose pranks have provoked real-world peril. Dressed in the understated armor of dark pants, a crisp white tee and a tan button-down that hinted at casual confidence, he cut a figure more approachable than his on-screen alter egos. Inside, amid thumping bass and strobe-lit silhouettes, his gaze locked on Calemine, a social media siren known for her sultry feeds and fashion-forward flair. At half his age, with cascading dark locks, full lips, and a form-fitting pink bandage mini-dress that hugged her curves like a second skin, she evoked Jenner's billion-dollar allure, plump pout, hourglass silhouette, and an aura of effortless enigma. Cohen, ever the provocateur, bridged the gap with characteristic charm, their banter blooming amid the haze of premium pours. Eyewitnesses, those invaluable narrators of Tinseltown's twilight tales, painted a portrait of unbridled flirtation. He was staring at Kelsey and then walked over and started chatting to her, one source confided, noting the pair's laughter as a constant undercurrent, infectious and unrestrained. Inside the velvet-roped velvet, Cohen's humor, dry, daring, laced with that signature absurdity, seemed to disarm, drawing Calemine into a vortex of shared chuckles. By 3 a.m., as the crowd thinned and the night tipped toward dawn, they spilled onto the sidewalk, the chemistry crackling like static. Calemine, radiant in her candy-hued ensemble, leaned in as Cohen regaled her with tales that likely danced between self-deprecation and sly observation. Outside they were both very flirty and they didn't stop laughing, the Observer elaborated, capturing the alchemy of age-gap allure and comedic charisma. The crescendo came with a gesture as old as courtship itself, the exchange of digits. As Calemine's Uber purred up to the curb, Cohen handed over his phone with a gallant tilt, watching as she inputted her number with a coy smile. It was a moment pregnant with possibility, will-won't they fodder for the gossip mills that Cohen has long lampooned. Bystanders buzzed, phones discreetly raised to immortalize the encounter, but the duo remained blissfully oblivious, lost in the bubble of newfound fascination. For Calemine, whose influencer empire thrives on aspirational aesthetics and sponsored sips, rubbing elbows and more, with Cohen represented a serendipitous upgrade, a brush with thespian royalty that could spawn content gold. For him, post-divorce from Isla Fisher after 13 years and 3 daughters, it signaled a chapter unbound, a flirtation free from the familial anchors that once defined his public persona. Cohen's split from Fisher, finalized in June amid amicable murmurs of growing apart, had been a quiet rupture in a union that blended British wit with Australian fire. Their 2010 vows in a top-secret ceremony, followed by the births of daughters Olive, Elvie, and an unnamed third, painted a picture of domestic delight. Yet as Cohen's career veered into dramatic depths, think the trial of the Chicago Seven's fervent advocacy or Mandel's philosophical heft, their paths diverged. Fisher's rom-com resurgence in Wedding Crashers and Confessions of a Shopaholic contrasted his shape-shifting intensity, but the divorce decree emphasized mutual respect, a conscious uncoupling sans spectacle. Enter this club caper, Cohen's first high-profile dalliance since, a bold step into the dating arena where his improvisational genius could shine unfiltered. Calemine, meanwhile, embodies the new guard of digital divas, 26, Los Angeles bred, with a feed flooded by bikini-clad escapades and brand collabs that scream unapologetic sensuality. Her Jenner-esque features aren't coincidence. In a town obsessed with archetypes, she leans into the comparison, curating a brand of sultry sophistication. Spotted at A-list haunts from Coachella after-parties to Nobu nights, she's no stranger to starstruck synapses, but Cohen's approach, direct, disarming, elevated the evening. Their sidewalk symposium stretched minutes into an eternity of easy rapport, laughter punctuating pauses like exclamation points. He instantly noticed her, the source affirmed, underscoring the magnetic pull that transcends the 28-year chasm. This rendezvous ripples beyond the immediate, probing the paradoxes of Cohen's public life. The man who infiltrated Kazakhstan for Borat's mockumentary Mayhem, enduring lawsuits and security scrums, now navigates personal publicity with a wink. His post-divorce pivot, from family man to flirt, invites scrutiny, yet his history of boundary blurring suggests authenticity over artifice. Calamine's youth injects vitality, a counterpoint to the gravitas of his recent roles, like the cunning kingpin in Amsterdam. Their number swap? A portal to potential late-night texts morphing into power lunches, or perhaps a cameo in his next satirical salvo. As dawn crept over the Hollywood hills, Cohen slipped away, the encounter a footnote in his ever-unfolding narrative. For Calemine, it was a story arc amplified, Instagram stories teasing the thrill without spilling specifics. Page 6 outreach yielded silence, preserving the mystery that fuels such tales. In a city where every glance is a headline, this midnight muse reminds us, even satirists seek sincerity, and age is but a punchline in the grand improv of life. Cohen, ever the jester, may just have scripted his next act, with a co-star half his age and twice the spark.